To create a trailer for this book has been a task. The book is about a wolf dog on a dangerous journey into the far north to Finland. It is currently only available in German, but for the future and for this video, I already created a quick English version as well. I have compiled here 5 easy tips that may help to create something cinematic yourself. But now at first, the trailer itself. Tip number 1, that is an easy one. My advice is do not overestimate gear. I have been creating videos for more than 20 years now, and we tried to get a cool look from DV video back then as well. So it is way easier to get a good looking footage with any gear from today, even with a decent phone, for example. But just for information, what gear have we used for the trailer? Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K, DJI Mavic Mini and GoPro Hero 9. And actually my favorite shot in this video is a GoPro shot, so you can really get good footage with cheap cameras as well, if you have the right conditions. So let's move on. Tip number 2. If you want to have your audience a cinematic experience, that tip now is the most obvious to anybody. Use a cinematic aspect ratio, a widescreen format. 16:9, like this video here, is already good in comparison to the old 4:3 television aspect ratio, but in cinematography, common aspect ratios are 1.85:1 and 2.39:1. These are a lot wider in comparison. For simulation purpose, you can simply crop it in a 16:9 project. Then the video is technically still 16:9 with black bars at the bottom and at top. That is what the trailer you have seen is in this video, because I have integrated the widescreen footage in a 16:9 timeline. But if you choose to work natively, you have to adjust your project setting. The trailer has been originally produced in 2.39:1 aspect ratio, and I have linked the German version down below, and you can see the difference to a 16:9 video with just black bars right here on YouTube. Let's move on. Tip number 3. Tip number 3 is about movement. Unless you are trying to do an action trailer, smooth movement is considered to be cinematic. For example, landscape shots with drones and gimbals, things like this. Whereas shaky video is usually not associated with a professional cinematic look, rather more with a private travel video filmed with a handheld camcorder. Again, today you can be thankful, as many cameras have already inbuilt stabilization, like the more recent GoPros, iPhones or many bigger cameras. If you want to take it a step further, you can also use a gimbal. That's what we did here with the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. In comparison to just 10 years ago, for many shots you would have to put rails on the ground to make it look cinematic. Now you put the camera on a gimbal and start shooting. Of course, you have to practice a little bit. Anyway, additionally, I would recommend shoot at higher frame rates and then use slow motion to smooth out any shakes. And later in the editing suite, if it's still not smooth enough, you may stabilize your footage with software algorithms. And as it fits here, actually kind of tip 3.5, choose the cinematic frame rate, which is 24p, so 24 frames per second. Tip number 4, also very important, is light in your film. The easiest way is certainly to use available light, the sun. The sun often provides the best lighting conditions, but often additional lights help to tell the story. Therefore, in the trailer you've seen before, we chose to shoot in the blue hour just before it was getting dark, so the aperture was wide open and you get the desired blurry background. In the opening sequence, the talent, a Belgian shepherd dog, should look anxious into the woods, while the burning forest is reflected on the face of the dog. So the only lighting was a small aperture bulb simulating fire in one hand, while in the other hand is the gimbal and the camera. Tip number 5. Finally, when you have collected the footage, it comes to editing and color grading. The editing process now tells the story. Here you need to get the right timing and pace. And of course, most important of all is your talent in front of the camera. Atya, our Malinois dog, did a good job here, although we knew how to get that anxious look into the supposedly burning woods. Always somewhere behind the camera or in the direction where she's supposed to go is her beloved toy. When we tell her to stay and not to get it right away, she always gets this anxious, troubled look. I really want to get it. Then, after editing everything together, it is about the final look. Here you change the colors of your video to your liking. For a cinematic look, we opted here for low-key colors and less saturations to underline the dramatic scene. But in general, I believe there is no such thing as cinematic colors. The color of cinema is always different, and films from 20 years ago have a different color rendering than most films today, and even today there is a whole variety. So I think the grading and look should simply help to underline the mood of the storyline. So that is it from me concerning an easy cinematic trailer production. Certainly it is possible to improve here, but bear in mind how much time you're willing to invest and if it is dramatically enhancing the experience of your audience. Often you can get away with some guerrilla tactics. Okay, now that's all from me now really. If you like the video, just subscribe, hit the bell as well. And if you want to see the original trailer, the link is below in the description. And if you want to read the book, currently only in German, the link is below as well. So see you in the next video then.